Hello, and welcome to another HR Max ERLR tutorial. After receiving questions and concerns from our customers, we felt that some changes to our Family Medical Leave Act process would be beneficial. Due to these changes, we felt it was best to show the new forms and explain the procedure, as well as talk a little bit about the program. Employees must provide notice of the intent to invoke FMLA no less than 30 days before leave is expected to begin, or as soon as practical. The supervisor must be notified as soon as possible, and then HR Max will need to be contacted via Leaf for the required paperwork. This includes the FMLA invocation memo, the WH-381, and either the WH-380E for the employee's serious health condition or the WH-380F for family member with a serious health condition. I will be discussing the FMLA invocation memo, the WH-381, and the approval notification. Here we have the FMLA invocation memo. We have changed the title of the memo to avoid the misunderstanding that the request is for supervisor approval. Since only HR can determine eligibility of this entitlement, the purpose of this memo is purely informational and to make sure leadership is aware of the invocation and that the employee will possibly be away from work. Here we have the date, employee name, and station number drop-down, which is the same as the last memo. If you are unsure of your station number, please leave it blank and make sure to type in your organization name. Section 1 is where the employee will annotate the reason for invoking or intending to invoke FMLA. The employee will mark the applicable section if requesting FMLA for the birth or placement of a son or daughter, as well as paid parental leave. The employee will need to read Section 2 and check all that apply. For Section 3, the employee will complete this based on the corresponding sections of the medical documentation. Please either answer to the best of your ability or leave it blank and discuss with your HR specialist once one has been assigned. This was added so that the supervisor can have a general idea of when the employee might be out while waiting for an eligibility determination from HR. Please remember, do not put any medical information such as condition, diagnosis, or symptoms in this document. This section should only list times expected to be out of the office due to your condition. The VATAS leave codes table is there to help the employee identify which code to use when requesting FMLA in VATAS. Based on the condition, once the FMLA invocation memo is completed and signed by the employee, they will provide this memo and the WH-381, which we'll go over momentarily, to their supervisor. If the medical documentation has not yet been received, we've updated the memo to only require signatures from the employee and the first level supervisor. If the first level supervisor is out of the office, the second level supervisor can sign in their absence. The WH-381 is meant for the employee, informing them of their rights and responsibilities while using this entitlement. The supervisor will fill out the top section, current date, from supervisor, to employee, the employee's invocation date, and the reason FMLA is being requested. Sections 1, 2, and 3 will be addressed by HR in the eligibility notification after the supervisor determines if the FMLA will be used as paid or unpaid leave. Please note, the employee is not required to provide forms WH-380E or F to the supervisor or any other organizational staff after supervisory signature is obtained on the FMLA invocation memo. The employee will submit the invocation memo and the WH-380E or F to the HR specialist assigned. If medical certification cannot be submitted to HR with the invocation memo, the employee has 15 calendar days after the date requested by the agency, or, if that is not practical, after diligent good faith effort by the employee, no later than 30 days. Once we receive all documentation and determine eligibility, we will sign and send the invocation memo to payroll for further processing. We will also send the eligibility notification. Please be aware that due to the sensitive nature of these requests, we will not be sending this notification to anyone other than the employee and supervisor. To ensure that employees receive needed information regarding usage of FMLA in accordance with regulations, we have updated how we will be sending out approvals. This is a template that HR Max will begin using for FMLA approvals to include any amendments made to an existing approval. Please note that this is an unedited copy, and the notification that the employee and supervisor will receive will look a little different depending on the situation. At the top, we will annotate if this is a renewal or an amendment to an existing FMLA approval. In paragraph 1, we will state the approval period, and paragraph 2 will detail how often an employee is expected to be out based on the medical documentation received by HR. If the medical condition changes and the employee is expecting to be out more frequently, or if an additional medical condition occurs that was not covered previously, new medical documentation will need to be provided to HR so that we can amend the current approval. Paragraph 3 will detail the employee's usage of FMLA, and paragraph 4 will only be included in the notification if the FMLA request included PPL. Responsibilities of the employee while participating in the FMLA program are listed in paragraph 5. Since FMLA is a non-paid program, any use of LWOP for the approved medical condition does not require separate approval. And if this request is for a qualifying life event, or QLE, such as the birth of a child, we have added the information to the appropriate team the employee will need to contact. We have also listed the table of VATAS leave codes on this notification. I hope this training has been helpful for you to understand the new FMLA forms and process. Thank you for your time and have a great day.